48 गर्ल्स में से 7 क्रिश्चियन हैं, बाकी हिंदू हैं।
मैं अकेली नहीं हूँ इस खेल में। मेरे जैसे हजारों लड़कियां हैं जो अपने घर से भागकर इस रेगिस्तान में दफन हो चुकी है।
I am reunited with Adah Sharma after 6 long years, and my goodness, what a film we are united for, and that is the Kerala story. So I think, firstly, Adah, it's great to see you after so long, and heartiest congratulations, and kudos to you and the entire team for making such a brave and courageous story. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so happy that I'm so happy you're actually, like you said, you found the trailer bone chilling, and I hope we are able to create that awareness with this film.
I'm sure you will do. I'm sure you will do. So look, Ada, I mean, look, the Kerala story is based on true stories that, have occurred within the state. It addresses coercion and extremism through the guise of love. So tell me, how familiar were you about the terror threat in Kerala? And after doing the film, how has it kind of impacted the way one deals or views terrorism, especially in the news?
So first is how I'm with Kerala. I am a Keralite. My mom is a Malayali, and so is her mom. So I'm part Keralite. So the Malayalam, everyone's asking me, they're like, how did you get the accent and how do you look? And I'm like, but I am a Malayali. My dad is a Tamilian. And but my dad was in the Navy. He always told me, whenever anyone asks you where you're from, I mean, this is specific to this movie, so I'm saying, he said, you should say I'm proud Indian. That's what you should say.
Yeah.
So because he said when he goes on international territory and all, he used to say, when people ask you where are you from, he used to say India. So he said, that's what you're proud Indian. So yeah, so that's how Kerala for me is. I think Kerala is one of the most beautiful places ever. It's a really beautiful place. I have relatives there as well. And this character for me is something that's quite close to me also, because the other characters I've played, I've not really identified with in my career. I've loved doing that because that's so much fun also, playing someone you don't identify with. Like in 1920, I was possessed. So I don't identify with being possessed. In Commando, I'm beating up people. I don't identify with that either. It's fun, but I don't do that in real life. So yeah, a lot of my movies, so this felt close because she's a single child. She's born and brought up in a very protected environment. Of course, I've been born and brought up in Bombay, but compared to say a girl who's born and brought up in Thiruvananthapuram in Kerala, where Shalini is born and brought up, she's kept really protected. So when she goes out into the world, it would be different from when I am, but she's close to her mother and her grandmother. So it seemed quite close to home. A lot of things in it seem quite, though she's of course very naive, and I would like to think I'm not, it's not like that. But yeah, and she makes a mistake and she's to pay for it, but she's to pay a really heavy price for it. And that's what it is.
I remember watching the teaser last year when it dropped, and my stomach churned, especially especially when the titles at the end came up. I mean, for you to actually get into the skin of that character, I mean, firstly, how emotionally tough was it? And I think the second part of the question is, what research and preparation did you have to undergo to make sure it's done as authentic as possible?
I feel anything I speak about how emotionally draining or emotionally taxing it is for me, it kind of minimizes the pain of what those girls must have really gone through. And part of my preparation was, we did meet with those girls. I did speak to them. They did tell me their stories. And there will be at the end of our film slide as well. There will be their testimonials and everything also. But I did speak to them, and I feel anything I went through, whatever I say is not going to do. I don't know. It just seems so like, what can I say? Oh, in Ladakh, there was no oxygen. But I'm talking about lives of girls who were, like I said, drugged, raped, gang raped, impregnated. It's, I don't even know how to put it into words. I almost felt like a lawyer when I was doing the film, because every day I went on set, I said, I have to do justice to what I'm doing. And then as an actor, I do everything I can in my possibility. Once I've got a role to be as authentic as I can. So here we did work on the accent. For 4 months, I told my granny speak to me only in Malayalam or in Hindi because her Hindi has a Malayalam accent to
Very
it. So
strong
with the
one.
accent,
Yeah.
that's what I did. And the rest of it, I had a great director, great creative director, great director. The whole team was really nice. And I know we're doing a very stressful film, but the on set, the mahol was very peaceful. It was very calming to have good people around because we had to do a lot of things that are physically also difficult. Some of the stuff when I was reading the script only, I was like, how are we going to portray this? And physically also, I've not done stuff like that before. But yeah, so we've been as authentic as we can do it. But I met many of the girls. There are many stories of
Oh, okay.
yeah, we also met the parents of one of the girls. We also, but I don't want to tell you exactly what because I mean, when you watch the film,
Yeah.
I don't want to give away too much from it.
Mhm.
But when they told me, I mean, you guys are watching a trailer of a movie of me trying to, I mean, I'm portraying these girls, but when I heard the real stories, I was. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say actually, because I would love to know what your mind space was like actually, as a human being. Because obviously when we hear about stories of women, I mean here in UK we had a story about the Bethnal Green trio as well that went to Syria and ISIS and all of that. So I think, there's so much judgments that are made, when you see news reports, when you hear the TV channels. Of course, not to sympathize with anyone who decides to, of course, participate and support extremism, of course, but how tough was it for you to be neutral at that point and meet them with a very neutral opinion and stuff, and what did you kind of gain from that experience of meeting with them? What did you discover?
I think I just felt very grateful about the life I am living. And we take for granted so many things. We take for granted that we have freedom of speech, freedom of thought. Freedom of thought is so important. And we have that all the time, right? We're allowed to think, we're allowed to, uh, there's so much freedom. When somebody curbs that freedom, then you probably realize how difficult life is. And I think, yeah, I just feel very grateful that I'm me in real life, in this place here, living with my family, and very grateful also that I got a chance to be Shalini and to tell you all this story. I got selected to be doing this. So I consider myself very lucky that way also.
Hmm. But as an artist, when you play characters or do sensitive films like the Kerala story, obviously, Ada, there's been a lot of reaction. We've been seeing since last year what people have been saying. Of course, some people have been calling it propaganda. Some people have been, calling it all sorts of things. But what gives you personally, as Ada, the strength in dealing with backlash and strong public reactions?
Like when COVID had first started out, and we had heard about COVID before it was in India. We used to be like, huh, COVID, COVID's some disease. Then it came closer to India, and then they were like, okay, there are 20,000 cases today, and oh my God, there are some 300 deaths, 349 deaths. Then it became 432 deaths. And then you're like, oh, cases rose to 25,336. And then there were 20 less deaths today. And, it's just talked about like a statistic, it's a number. And then your friend's mother has COVID. Then it becomes like, oh my God, my friend's mother has COVID, COVID, it's serious, yeah. You can get, mask pen ke jao bahar, be careful about it, COVID. Then it becomes your neighbor. Your neighbor has COVID. So you're like, oh, like in the next house, there's COVID in the next house. Oh my God. And then somebody, dies of COVID. And then on that day, when the number has even decreased by 18, and there are 12 less deaths and 3 people less who are critical, it doesn't matter because that one person died. One. When your family, and if it's your mother, your sister, and that person has COVID, you don't care about 23,000 cases, 50,000 cases today, 51,796. Nothing matters. It's one because it's happened to you. And I think for a lot of human beings, till it happens to you, it doesn't exist. And it must be just some propaganda. They're making up things. Jhoot bol rahe, COVID hai hi nahi, It was that. But when it happens to someone, And when you lose someone who's close to you, then it becomes real and it's not propaganda anymore. So I feel even this, I don't think anyone has said that this is not happening. I think there's enough proof in public domain available also with cases and everything about it, about all of this happening. But I think till it happens, people who are saying propaganda are the people who probably it's not happened to them. However, I still feel once they watch the film, they'll realize it's not anti any religion. It is not propaganda, and I myself would never do something that is anti any religion. I've not been brought up that way. My
Mm.
parents would never encourage me uh, saying or doing anything that's anti anything. So it's not anti any religion. However, it is anti terrorism. So we are saying terrorism is terrible and terror activities that are being done because blackmailing someone, bullying someone, and holding
Coerced.
someone hostage is, yeah, that's not any religion. That's terrorism. So you're saying terrorism is. But I still feel, I think after our trailer was out, we got humongous support and a lot of people, yeah, who did. There are a few people who did say propaganda and all, but I feel when they watch the film, they'll probably, hopefully, they come without a political point of view and just watch the film as watching humans, watching four
Mhm.
girls and their story. But
Mhm.
again, it's a free country where there's freedom of thought and speech. We are all very thankful about.
Mm.
And so once you're saying thank you to freedom of speech, then you have to allow everyone to have freedom of speech. So
मैं वही पूछने वाला था. Thank you for saying this because my next question was actually around that because I think we kind of saw a bit of controversy arise. I think from another film which released last year, which did very well, called The Kashmir Files. There was a lot of hoo-ha about that too. But I think it essentially just goes to show that if a film does well, it's not necessarily because it's a certain person backing it. That's to an extent. But if it does so well, that's also probably because a lot of people probably are able to relate and are able to kind of resonate with that film. But I think we often hear talks about freedom of expression in stories and art, which I think is great. But yet, I feel sometimes the definition is one sided when it perhaps comes to showing certain Indic tragedies. So, I think for you as artists as well, being in this sort of situation today where there are lots of double standards, where there are lots of opinions flying around, how can you as artists perhaps, challenge this or sort of combat this?
I'm not here to challenge it actually at all. I'm not here to combat it. Like I said, I'm very grateful that we have freedom of speech because others have freedom of speech, I also have, right? Where in India, we are allowed to think and say what we want. So I'm allowed to put my point across, and so are you. In
Hmm.
some places, that's not allowed to be
True.
done. And yeah, so at least we should be grateful that we're in a place like this. And now if I want my freedom of speech, I shouldn't be allowed to curb yours. So if somebody else wants to think something or say something about us, about the film, about me as a person, they also are allowed to, right? I'm not allowed to be like, you can't think that. I can put my point across and say that, it's not this, but after that, eventually what someone else wants to believe, I can't brainwashing you would be wrong. That's what our film is about. So
It's literally
I'm
about
not here.
brainwashing. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm not here to challenge anyone's thoughts. And if that is how somebody else thinks, then that's how they think. I can't change that.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. And I think,
However, but I just have to say, like, it's the in I don't know the amount of support we've got with just the trailer. I feel so grateful. I don't even know. I mean, like people say, this one has this one support and this one's have this one support, but that support can just take you somewhere. When the audience supports you, it's just crazy. I've been getting so much love from people that it just feels so nice. I think I'm so fortunate.
coming back to my first question, Ada, I asked you a lot about the mental and emotional challenges. I mean, when you are doing a role like this, and you said that it's taught you to be grateful, and rightly so. But as an actor, surely doing a role which is so emotionally taxing and mentally draining, how did you cope with yourself actually after wrapping up, because that must have, I'm sure it must have taken a lot out of you to actually present.
Yeah, I had swollen eyes all the time for, I think, 6 months that we were shooting. And my eyes were puffy because there's a lot of crying stuff. So I had like puffy eyes and all. And my friend was like, I think maybe you should, even after it's over, everyone said maybe you should see someone, like you should maybe go for therapy just to get out of it. And I was saying, no. I said, yeah, maybe should, and we planned it all. Just so happened that I had signed something, and we had finished our Ladakh schedule, and we came back. And then we had 2 more days in Kerala, but I started another film, which is the exact opposite of this,
Oh,
which is a fictional film where I play someone who's, I can't really say.
oh, go
but,
on, Adah. No one will know which one it is. Don't
I
say the name
play
of the
someone
film.
who's mildly violent also, and so physically and mentally, and extremely uh, bold in thought, actually.
Mhm.
So I had to get into that, and I had to speak like Shuddh Hindi for that.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I think as an actor, these are the things. When anyone asks me a challenge that I go through for a role, people have asked me like 1920, they said you're possessed, or they say commando action, and these are the things I like to do. Like this is my job. I love doing this. This is what I live for, and I wait and dream and hope that I get to do these things. The challenge is to get these things. That, if you ask me, I can write a whole thesis on, because I don't belong to a film family. There's probably, I know that every film I do, I don't know if I get any film to do after that. I don't know. So the challenge is to tell yourself that, yeah, maybe this is it, or there'll be somebody else who will probably get it, and you'll have to just watch that and then be okay with it. The challenge is to know that you might sign a film today and then be replaced by somebody else tomorrow. The challenge is that I might do an entire workshop for a movie and be really excited about it, and tell all my friends and family that I'm doing this giant film with this actor and this production, and it's such a prestigious film because it's with all these popular people, and then 3 days before be chucked out of that film and replaced by somebody else.
Oh,
So the
God.
challenge is dealing with my mind at that time. That was a tougher challenge for me than dealing with this, because for this I told myself, I mean, it was very easy to tell myself that I'm playing a real girl. I'm speaking for these thousands of girls. It's a true story, and I'm getting the opportunity to put it there for all of you. And I'd like to believe I'm meant to be an actor who's meant to act, and have all of you watch me act, and that's what I love to do. So when I get to do that, for me, I can't even compare the challenge to what it is when you're all ready to get a film, and you're so ready with, you're like, my acting, I know dancing, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, but the film has to be given to somebody else. So the challenge is not once I'm in, if you call the entire Bollywood thing a race or whatever, it's like saying once you're in the race, I'm ready to run because I've been training for it all my life. The challenge is what when you want to participate in the race and you're not allowed to participate in the race.
Yeah.
That's the challenge, and that's what you have to tell your mind, and then you have to be normal and okay and probably not lose your mind there. So
Thank you for saying this, because I was going to say to you, whenever someone mentions to me Adah Sharma, right, the first thing that comes into my mind is that she has not got her dues yet. I feel like, honestly, you did amazing work in 1920 and you've had such a great
thank you.
career. But I
Thank
do
you.
feel you've not been given your dues. But I think that's why the Kerala story, everyone is kind of, rooted
Yeah,
for
it's like
you.
the whole country, not even the whole country. I have international people from overseas, and everyone's rooting for me. Like I feel like it's so cool because I feel like I'm this. I have like the whole world is rooting for me, so that feels so nice because I mean, people say, oh, Godfather, and oh my God, I have gods and the whole nation and everyone rooting for me. So what more can I ask for? And also, like we can get really bitter about it and say, oh, I didn't. But I also think it's I don't know how to probably I've been taught how to act, and then we practice acting and diction and dance and music and instruments and everything else. But I've never been taught really how to sell myself, or how to
Marketing, yeah. Position
how
yourself.
to position myself, or how to be social around people. Uh, Now, if the industry was made up of elephants and dogs, I would be able to very easily, mingle. But I don't know how to probably. I'm not savvy. That's not been taught to me. I've been an only child in real life, so competition was never taught to me either. I don't understand the concept of competition because I had my mama all to myself. I didn't have to share her with a brother or a sister.
Mm.
I had friends, of course, but there was never a thing of competition ever. It was never like you have to be better than that one, or that didn't exist. So you can't just blame it on external conditions and factors. But yeah, it's like the Kerala story is coming in with everyone's like rooting for me. I feel very touched, really.
हाँ बट मैं बहुत रिलेट करता हूँ इस बात से अदा बिकॉज जब आप इंडिपेंडेंट होते हो बिकॉज आप एक इंडिपेंडेंट टैलेंट हो ठीक है आप ना किसी कैंप को बिलोंग करते हो ना यू डोंट हैव एनी वन बैकिंग यू थ्रू एंड थ्रू आउट ऐसा कुछ एंड आई रिलेट विद दैट एज वेल इवन एज अ जर्नलिस्ट सो आई टोटली अंडरस्टैंड एग्जैक्टली द सॉर्ट ऑफ चैलेंजेस यू हैव गॉन थ्रू बट जब वो चीज आपको नहीं मिलती है एंड आपने बहुत अच्छी बात कही कि आप बिटर नहीं हुए उस बात से you've
No,
not
thodi,
been,
no, I mean, it's normal to, it's
and it's
never that
okay
I've
to be
ever
a
felt
little
down. I have been like, what do I do? Oh
That's
my, all
okay.
that has happened. But I try to switch out of it as soon as I can. Also, sorry, but like, I know we are saying I don't have a backing of people, but I'd also like to believe all the people who've ever given me any movie, ad, music video, brand deal, anything, anyone who's given me an opportunity has also had faith in me. Like 1920 was given to me just like that. I was a new girl on the basis of the audition. Commando was given to me on the basis of like an audition. So these people did back me. My South career, I've done so many movies in South where
Big ones, huh? As
people
well.
really, like Puri Jagannath trusted me with my first movie. Such a good role. Kshanam they gave me. So I think people have really supported me. But this Kerala story trailer thing, the amount I got in like 1.5 days seemed so awesome. It's like for all the stuff I've never got ever, everyone's like, here you go.
Yeah, that's true. So actually, I wanted to ask you actually as a follow-up because you said that thoda sa bitter hue hain. That's fine. But what helps you to stay sane? I think at a time like that when you are not given, that opportunity or when things are snatched, how do you stay happy and okay?
Uh, I try to distract my mind with stuff. So I always feel if you, for me at least, that works. If I'm really like, I play the piano for an hour, it feels meditative. Or I look out of my beautiful window at the trees and I watch the
Nice,
birds.
actually. I love your background. It's really nice.
So yeah, I have a nice window. There's a kite who's built his nest and all over there, and there's a feud with a crow and a kite. They want to build a nest. I watch all this. This is what I do in my free time. So yeah, I try to do stuff to try to not have my mind because I think it's very easy to just flip and
Mhm.
lose it really.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm not fully crazy yet. I'd like to say.
Good. No. Good. I'm glad to hear that. But actually आप कह रहे थे कि आपने films की है जो शायद आप relate नहीं कर पाती है. Of course, in that sense. I mean, that's the beauty of your job as an
And
actor.
I love that. Yeah, that's also fun. That's a lot of fun.
Very much. Now, I think I don't know. Maybe I'm just pinpointing these two films, okay, in particular, because I think these are milestones in your career, which I personally believe. So, 1920, or even this one, I find it extremely fascinating how you're playing roles where your character is vulnerable. She's in a vulnerable state, and then she subsequently becomes consumed by darkness and sinister energies.
Oh yeah, actually that is a similar thing. You're right. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, of course आपने consciously तो ये choose तो नहीं किया होगा जब आपको एक offer किया है role. तो एक deciding factor क्या होती है? And do you think that, there's been a time in your life कि जब आप एक vulnerable position पे हो और चारों तरफ अंधेरों से छा गए थे आप और really difficult circumstances were thrown your way. How have you coped with that as well?
To be honest, no. In real life, I try as much as I can to avoid being consumed by चारों तरफ darkness. मैं उतनी नहीं घुसूंगी कि चारों तरफ darkness होगा. At least now, touch wood, I've not been in a situation like that. But yeah, the mind can be a dark place. And like I've told you, the darkest that my mind has gone through. I mean, people ask me like, you had painful breakup and all. And I'm like, yeah, breakups have happened that are painful, but the pain of rejection, I think all actors go through this. It's very painful, yeah. You're in a job where, good, we won't have large egos. I think we'll stay humble. But yeah, you did point out there are similarities that way that she gets consumed by darkness. And yeah, no, in real life, I don't think I've been in such a dark place before. Thank God, no.
And I think,
So,
there's always that sense of innocence, because मेरे जो interviews होते हैं ना, मैं बहुत fascinate होता हूँ जब innocence से experience तक का journey जब हम बात करते हैं. I feel like, when you did 1920, आप काफी new थी. You were again very innocent. You were very new to the industry. Even the Kerala story, after doing a big body of work, but there was still that sense of talab left in you. वो जो एक urge होता है ना एक actor के अंदर के बस अच्छी तरह से ये character को पेश करना है, surrender होना है. So do you think also that's why you've been able to kind of portray these characters very well on screen is because there's always that sense of innocence within you as well as a person?
I think the day that I feel like I don't want to give this 100%, I won't do movies or acting anymore, for sure. Like without a doubt. Anything I don't feel 100% for that I want to do. I want to wake up in the morning and be like, I want to go on set, I want to have that feeling. The day I don't have that, I will not be doing movies anymore. I will not act. So I would hope that that's there for till whenever it is, I will be doing movies. 1920, the maybe experience, yes, I didn't have, but the excitement that I had then and now is the same.
Huh.
But I had no experience and I didn't know anything about anything. That light that's there, that light they call baby. They were like, baby ko hatao. And I thought they were talking about me. And I was like, so mean, so stuff like that. I had no clue. It was my first movie. So it was like, you have to climb up that wall over there and jump off. I was like, yeah, let's do it. But I think I do that now also. If someone says you have to, we did it here, you have to climb that mountain, run up, and there was no oxygen and all. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then there was roll down that, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So I really like what I do. So I'm very excited to get to do it. So usually, yeah, I don't say, no, I'm not kicked about it.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, जब 1920 की बात आती है ना, I swear to God, मतलब इतने सारे nightmares आए हैं. Like, especially after like TikTok, oh my God, and test
Oh
test
my God, that was
test.
fun.
Oh
That was so
God.
much fun.
Like,
But I
oh
think the
my.
Kerala thing is going to give people more nightmares also because 1920 was fictional. I mean, I'm not taking away people getting possessed. I know people do get possessed, but
Yeah.
but it's not. Yeah, it was not like based
Yeah.
on
It's not something
exactly
that we
something.
see every day on news or read up on, basically.
Probably, yeah. Also, yeah. So I think this is going to be something that scares people also.
Hmm. Now, I am fascinated, जब एक actor और एक character की बात होती है. Let's just say, for example, Ada, एक ऐसा situation हो जाती है where you get to actually speak to your character Shalini. You get to actually meet her, as in the depiction that you've done on screen. If
Right.
you had the chance to have a conversation with her, what would you tell her?
To be honest, I don't know if I want to say or I don't know if I can even ask anything. I would wait for her to probably I think we just look at each other in silence. I don't think there can be any words exchanged after,
Mhm.
which is, I think, what you'll feel once you know what I mean once you watch the film.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to seeing how it all pans out, though, definitely. But
It's a worldwide release, so you'll get to watch it
oh,
the same
definitely.
day.
Oh, I will be watching. Don't worry about that. We definitely will be watching. But look, it's quite a really nice time because soon enough, Hasee to Phasee will be celebrating a decade in Hindi cinema. I mean, I can't believe 10 साल हो गए उस film को लेके. And again, even your character in that, even though uh, it's a beautiful Dharma film, you get that sort of commercial role that one kind of seeks for. But yet,
Right,
there's that sense of grey that your character has. There's that sense of insecurity
right,
that Karishma has. I think
right.
अब आप एक established actor बन चुकी हो और आपने experience बहुत ज़्यादा कमा लिया है. How do you look at that character now? What were some of your fond memories of working on Hasee to Phasee?
I really enjoyed the film because Pariniti, Siddharth, our director Vinil Matthews, they were really nice to me. Karan Johar was also really nice. Everyone was very warm and nice to me. I remember doing that film, the dance, Shake It Like Shami. I got to wear the sexy orange sari. And I was so excited because I said, I'm doing a Dharma movie where I'm, like a quintessential Dharma heroine and I'm getting to wear the sexy sari and do these dance moves and that's going to be so cool. And I remember that they told me I was not allowed to promote the film or tell anyone I was doing the film. So if anybody asked me, "Are you doing the film?" and I was very obedient and I had to say no. What? Which? No, no, I am not. So that happened. I remember that the first trailer was out, and it was a 2 minute whatever trailer. And there was not even one shot of me in the trailer. There was a glimpse of my back with the pallu. And my name wasn't there either, So I remember seeing it and I was like, yeah, but still I'm in a Dharma movie, I've done that song at least, And of course, there are a lot of, I thought I had really nice scenes. The scene at the end,
Did have very
the
good.
shadi scene. And I thought Vinil had directed it beautifully. I thought he kept the emotion so real and so subtle and without, I thought it was a very sweet film. And then the song released, and I remember I was so excited. I said, "Oh my God, the song is going to release!" But I remember when the song was out on YouTube, it said Siddharth Malhotra, Parineeti Chopra, and it was just him and me in the song. And I remember they launched the song on Dance India Dance, which was my favorite. I love watching dance reality shows because they're very talented. People are really, I think, on dance reality shows. I trip on dance reality shows all the time. My Instagram is full of dance reality show
I saw
reels
that.
because people dance like wow. So I remember that they told me I was not allowed to go to launch the song. They were launching the song because they were the lead pair in the movie. And I was like, my song, but I was not allowed to go to announce, to launch my song that I was part of. I was also not on the posters. So I remember then I had told myself that I want to do Hindi movies because I speak Hindi fluently.
Ji.
And I had got a few Telugu film offers, but I don't speak Telugu. And then Puri Jagannath, he's like one of the biggest directors in South, and he offered me a film called Heart Attack. He said, I'm doing this film where the girl and the boy have like an equal role. And she's not just a glam doll. It's a whole performance thing. And I think it's something you really enjoy. And then I told myself, I was like, you know what? I learn languages quick. Maybe I should just learn this language and do Telugu. So that's actually, I should really thank Hasee to Phasee because that got me into Telugu films. And then I did my first Telugu film. And I really enjoyed doing it. And the language I learned, I kept a tutor and I learned the language. And I was like, this is fun. And I remember that Hasee to Phasee and that released the gap of some 7 days. So we had the promotions of it together. And there they were like, you have to be present at all the promotions. We have to go to news channels on Monday. Then we have to do media channels on Tuesday. I was on all the posters of the movie. And they were being really, they were like, yeah, you have to. So I was like, okay. So I was in Hyderabad then for those 10 days. I wasn't here for Hasee to Phasee. I remember sending my mom for the premiere here because I was not here then. So, so yeah, I think I should thank Hasee to Phasee because that got me into Telugu films and it opened my mind to, I said, why not do films in other languages also? Why only Hindi? I learn the other language and do that other language also. If I get a really good role, why am I stopping myself only to Hindi? Because I speak fluent Hindi. I speak fluent Telugu also and I learned that as well. So, so yeah, I did. That's how I started doing South. So it's a film I really have to thank for. But I think it's one of, I really enjoyed it. I still like that song. And I think they made me look very nice in the sari. And in the end, the wedding scene also, I think that was, it was really nice. Yeah. I've done some films in the South where I played really strong characters. Like Shanam was a very author-backed role. And I've done films where I've been like a glam doll also. And very few actually. And I have 3 releasing now where I'm pretty much the central person of the film. So, but I think it's a director's thing. I think it's what the director has in his head and how he thinks of women. If he thinks he should just be standing behind the main guy who's the person who's propping up the movie, or even if the woman is there for 3 scenes, but is her role well etched? Does she have, is it written well? Have they had any thought? Or is it just 3 lines like, lines bol ke chale jao? It depends. And that has nothing to do with South and Hindi, or I don't think that's a language thing at all. It is your director and what goes on in his head, what he feels.
Okay. Okay. That's a very good thing, yeah, because it's not a north and south debate. I never really endorse the
Yeah, it's not really
who's better, who's not better, because I think it's Indian cinema. We can be proud and say that it's Indian cinema. Look, on a parting note, though, Adah, because obviously the Kerala story is releasing on the 5th of May.
Yes.
What would you like to tell audiences, not just in India but across the globe, about the film? What would you like to tell them?
I would just say, well, watch our trailer if you haven't watched it yet. Take your family and your friends and go watch the film. And I would request you to not go with the political mindset. That's the only thing. Go watch it as a human story, and there's a tragedy that's happening to these girls. And probably try to not taint your mind with anything else and just go watch it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. But look, Adah, I mean, 6 years it's been since we've seen each other, and I think it's been so lovely to finally catch up with you. And I'm so glad that it's happened for this role and for this film, because I honestly think that जिंदगी अब definitely और भी ज़्यादा बदलने वाली है आपकी. So, brace yourself for that. I think it's definitely going to
Just hope in a good way.
in a good way. That's exactly what I was going to say. But
I
no,
hope so.
so lovely to have you. Thank you so much for taking the time
So
out.
nice, Yogita. Thank you so much. Thank you.